Hey Gators and sports fans, get all your Gator talk, news, analysis, and opinions on the Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning podcast. Find us on your favorite podcast platform or watch us on Facebook Live between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. every weekday. Pod Up, because we are Gator fans. So say it's great to be a Florida Gator.
Good morning. Welcome to a Friday edition of Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to care. We're coming to you live from St. Andrews in Scotland. We got a lot to talk about today. We'll bring JC here in just a moment. If you missed it, the British Open is going on right now. Cameron Young has yet to tee off, who was your leader yesterday, probably the PGA Rookie of the Year, shot 8 under. Dustin Johnson has tied him from the LIV Tour. Taylor Gooch from the LIV Tour. Scotty Scheffler, number one player in the world, is one back. Should be an exciting. If the wind doesn't blow, they will eat this course alive. Yes. Let's go to the Titan MR hotline. And for game number 33 on the tee for the USA, Johnny Cornell.
Yeah. Thank you.
I missed the old guy. I think did he pass away or did he retire?
I think he retired. I don't think he's dead. I think
this guy's not as good as him, but I love it. Game number 33 on the tee from USA, Johnny Cornell.
Well, he was a legend, man. I mean, every year, and he stood there the entire 4 hours it took to launch those players, and I think. Yeah, this tournament, dude, it's really strange. I love watching it, but I can't get, morning golf to me. I guess I got to learn how to record.
Well, it ain't morning over there.
No, it's not. But here we are here. I think it's going to set up for a great. But you're right. I mean, it's going to set up for a great weekend. But the scores are going to go really low. This course is there for the taking if there's no wind and there's no conditions to affect adverse play. That course needs some weather, and it's not going to happen this weekend. So that's good for the gallery. That's good for the fans, and I guess the players probably like it too.
So you've already checked out the weather forecast for Saturday, Sunday?
Yeah, it's pretty benign. And the winds won't be more than 10, 15 miles per hour. But, I mean, things can change over there, as you've documented quite often. But right now, the forecast, which is just a forecast, but it's not going to be very severe at all for these guys.
It's such a short golf course, and with it being as firm as it is and no wind at all, they're just going to just tear it up. I mean, it's such a fun golf course when the wind is howling and things of that nature. JC, speaking of that, if any of our loyal listeners would like to play hole 1 at St. Andrews, they can go to Golden Ocala.
Yeah.
And they can play that in the road hole.
They can play that in the road hole. Exactly. Yeah. And you'll see just how wide these fairways are on that course, man. I mean, you could land airplanes on them. Well,
the hole number 1, it's somewhat to scale the first hole in golf at St. Andrews, but it looks even wider because hole 18 is right next to it. That landing area is just huge.
Well, you're sitting right in front of the Swilken Bridge there, QB. I mean, there, 1 and 18 it's a park. During the year when they're not playing golf, there people go out and throw their blankets down and throw frisbees and play.
Could you imagine if let's use I mean, obviously Augusta National is a private golf course. But let's say a public golf course, Torrey Pines. Yeah. Could you imagine if people had their dogs running around out there, people were having picnics? The greenskeepers would go nuts.
They would lose it. Yeah, well, this is different over there, man. That's a park, basically. Like I said, throwing frisbees and running around with their dogs and having picnics and playing. But it's an interesting place. It's the first home of golf, right? It's where it all started. Old Tom Morris there. That's where he started, right there. But I think Johnson is somebody to watch because of his length. I think if he putts well, he's going to be a hard guy to deal with, as will Scheffler, of course. And then Cam Smith's short game is the best in the game currently. So I think those are the 3 names you could really look for. I thought Tommy Fleetwood would play better. I thought Oosthuizen would be there. Now he's okay today. He's having a good round today, but much of the field hasn't teed off yet for the afternoon. So we'll see if he'll make the cut. But for those Tiger watchers, he's not going to make the cut.
No.
This day started off badly yesterday, hitting the ball in the divot and then going into the creek, and it's just a nightmare. So
yeah, you can't say enough about Tiger, but Tiger, I've been saying it ever since we've been doing the podcast. He cannot compete against the young boys on this tour. It's not. And granted, we know he's coming off a serious car wreck. But JC, I'm looking at our picks, and I hope these are the right ones. I got so much scribble on this sheet of paper. You had Morikawa, Cantlay, and Fleetwood, correct?
Yeah, and I think Cantley's under par.
He's playing well today.
Yeah,
and then I got Scotty, Xander, and Fitzpatrick.
You're all over it. Well, and then we had a pool that you and I did earlier or later in the week that was some different players who were up there at the top as well. So I don't know. I think again, it's going to set up for some great golf this weekend if you want to watch it. And recording it is what I like to do because during the middle of the day or in the morning, I got other things going on.
You got a lot of stuff. I just, I don't know why it bothers me. I didn't think it did, but I just don't want anybody from the Live Tour to win.
Well, no. Well, you don't have to.
It's hard to root for. Did you see where Ian Poulter got booed every time he was announced on the hole one?
No, I did not see that.
Oh yeah, them people from England and Scotland.
Wow.
They ain't happy he's part of the Live Tour.
What happened with the RNA with one of the players where they said he couldn't play? I don't know.
No, who?
Go ahead. I thought there was the guy that the RNA got into a little tiff with, and I don't know. I'm sorry. I just I know they're not happy with these Live guys over there, and Tiger had that big statement that he basically said where these players who went off to the Live Tour need to remember where they came from and why they are where they are today to be able to go to something like the Live Tour and to not just turn your back on the PGA and the RNA and so forth. But that was during the press conference before tournament. So anyway, this is it, QB. I mean, after the British Open, for me, seriously, this is.
You got the FedEx Cup and the Tour Championship.
Yeah, the FedEx Cup, and then we've got training camp starting here at the end of the month soon, and then August pops up. Training camp in the NFL. QB, I looked at some of these schedules in the NFL. I won't spend too much time on this, but man, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a schedule that's just going to blow your mind, especially on their home season tickets, home schedule, and their season ticket sales are through the roof. They're adding 3,000 seats to the South End Zone in Tampa Stadium to accommodate the demand. And they're basically requiring people to, if they want to buy season tickets, to commit to 2 years now. And with an only opt-out if the inflation cost of the second season's tickets go up over 7%. And so it's, Tom Brady has brought season ticket sales through the roof again at Tampa. They're going to play in Germany this year against Seattle, which is kind of crazy to me. Poor Seattle has to go all that way. And then, the home schedule that Tampa Bay has is just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Go ahead. I
was laughing reading our man Tony says on Facebook Live, brought to you on Melon Law. Old Tom Morris is watching on Peacock from heaven.
Yeah. Well, USA Network right now, something like that.
Yeah, it goes USA, and then I think it goes to NBC, and then later at night it goes to the Peacock channel. It's
USA. It's like one of those channels that runs old reruns of the Rockford Files or something like that. It's one of those networks you never watch.
Law and Order's on there all day long.
It's just one of those weird networks, but they got golf on. QB, I read something. I didn't read something, but I heard Nick Delatorre yesterday, and he's one of the Florida football beat guys. Nick was saying that last year, Billy had 4 different guys have over 100 run attempts on their team. 4 different guys ran over 100 times, got the ball over 100 times running the ball from Louisiana last year. And you talk about, and you've been talking about how this team's going to run the football and run the football and run the football. Get ready for that. The one name I think you should keep your eye on, and I'm just bringing this up because it's on the top of my mind because I was just reading about it before the show. It's Montrell Johnson. This guy.
I've been saying from day one, he's the best, clearly the best running back on our team.
And that's a name I would reiterate with you that could be somebody that really makes an impact on this year's team. But they are going to run. Folks, just get used to that, because that's what's going to happen. And Richardson, he was hurt a bunch of times last year. He wasn't healthy the entire year. Staying healthy will be paramount to him and their success, because without him being healthy, I don't know what you do after that. That the depth is an issue on both sides.
I think Jack Miller's going to be a solid quarterback.
It could be. I mean, it could be. But is he a runner?
No, he's a thrower.
Right. So that's going to change a lot of things if that's the case. But you think he's the first backup? Will he be the first backup?
He is the backup. There's no question about it.
So why wouldn't he have a chance to be the starter?
Because I think with the style and the athleticism they see from Richardson, that's what they want to do. And here's the other thing, JC.
Yeah.
We're not a team that can drop back and throw it 30 or 40 times. We don't have the personnel to do it on the outside. So, as you said, we are going to be a running football team. We're going to be an inside zone. We're going to RPO. We're going to zone read, and we're going to throw it deep. It's going to be as simple of an offense as you've ever seen.
And that should lead also to the under one penalty in every 30 plays idea that he has. If you're going to be that simple, you shouldn't have many penalties. Penalties are going to kill this team. Last year, they killed the Gators. They were ranked one of the lowest ranked teams in college football last year in penalties. So penalties, and then the turnover ratio. I think last year they were something like -7 or -8 in the turnover ratio. Running the football, keeping it simple, is going to hopefully cut down on those turnovers as well. Because interceptions, I think the Gators had more interceptions last year, QB, than since the most they've had since the 2002 Ron Zook team. When you think about that, that's 20 years. And last year they threw more interceptions than they had in 20 years. So it's obviously not going to be the same. And those numbers are going to change dramatically, because those were some of the big problems last year. So that'll go away.
Yeah, Facebook Live, Andy says Gators completed their basketball roster with an international guy. You're going to see more international guys coming here in the next few years. We got a big 6'11" dude from Germany, Alexander. I don't know how you pronounce his last name. So 6'11" guy, Alexander, the 6'11" German, is joining the program. Andy also says, and I agree with this totally.
Yeah.
He says the two best guys might be on the Gator football team might be from Louisiana, Osiris Torrance and Montrell Johnson.
We just mentioned
Osiris Torrance will be a high draft pick when he is eligible to go to the draft. Yeah. And I'm telling you, watching spring practice the few times I did, and then obviously the spring game, Montrell Johnson is a legit running back. I think he was the freshman of the year in the Sun Belt. So I do think those are our two best players. But I'm going to not sell short Justin Shorter and Xavier Henderson outside. I mean, these guys are going to have to be involved in the team, in the offense at some point. Even though Florida's going to run it. When it's 3rd and 14, you're going to have a very good chance of converting. I'll tell you that right now. You don't, but you can do some simple inside screen or anything to try to get that ball down the field to get that first down and keep that defense off the field. The defense is very short on depth. If Ventrell Miller goes down, then there's nobody behind him. And he's in his 6th year, QB. So injuries have been. Well, Ventrell Miller can only play well if the defensive line plays well. And I have said the last 2 years, if we don't have to play better on the front 7 defensively, it'll be a long year. We have not been very good up there at all. So we'll see. Ricky says, don't forget. John says, don't forget Ricky Pearsall in the slot. That's the kid that transferred from Arizona State. We'll see. But I do think the two best additions to the program, hands down, are Montrell Johnson and Osiris Torrance. JC, speaking of college football, I talked with I don't know if it was Brent or Buddy, but Pro Football Focus, and I hate to bring this up again, but I've had a bunch of people text me about it. Pro Football Focus came out with their top 10 quarterbacks in college football. Okay. I'm going to run down this list real quick. Tell me if you agree or disagree. All right. I know the first two I'll agree with. 1, Bryce Young. 2, Caleb Williams. 3, Spencer Rattler. 4, C.J. Stroud. 5, Sam Hartman. 5, Grayson McCall. 7, Brennan Armstrong. 8, Dylan Gabriel, 9, Keaton Slovis, and number 10, Tyler Van Dyke.
I don't know about Slovis. I would have C.J. Stroud at 1 or 2. I would not have him behind. I would not have C.J. Stroud behind the other 2 you just mentioned there. I think C.J. Stroud's throwing.
C.J. Stroud, out of all those guys I just mentioned right there, if they have a chance to go to the National Football League, he is clearly the best pro prospect out there, in my opinion.
He's accurate, and he can throw that football better or as well as anybody on that list. So that's who I'm having him 1 or 2 and Bryce Young at just the other one. And the thing about Bryce Young and the thing that he's going to have to hope for is that their offensive line figures it out, and I'm sure it will. But they were terrible in the spring game now, albeit they were going up against NFL players on defense, and that's a fact. Well, this Alabama defense this year is going to be ridiculous. But their offensive line is a question mark at Alabama, at least in terms of what they were able to do and not do in the spring game, if that matters at all. And it probably doesn't, because they had to tell Will Anderson to quit playing. They literally took him off the field because nobody could block him. So if Bryce Young is going to be effective, he can't get hit. He's got to be protected. And I think C.J. Stroud at Ohio State will be protected. I think Ohio State is going to be the 1 or 2 team in the that challenges for the national championship. I like Ohio State. And I think obviously Alabama, Georgia, the same cast of characters. QB. There was a question on a show the other day I was listening to: is who would you pick as the 4th team if you had to go with chalk right now? And last year, of course, we had Cincinnati get in, and that was a surprise. But if you had chalk with Georgia and Alabama maybe both getting in, assuming that happens like it did last year, and then you had Ohio State. Who is your 4th? Who would be your 4th team? I listened to a lot of different answers. Most people took Clemson, but I don't know who's going to throw the ball.
Well, I would go Clemson because they're going to be really good on defense, but they have to play the other kid at quarterback. If they play DJ Uiagalelei or whatever his name is, they have no chance. He cannot play quarterback.
Right.
I've seen enough.
That's the question for Clemson. Some folks even theorize that Texas A&M with 1 loss could get into the college football play. I don't see 3 teams from the league getting in. I don't see any chance of that. But I think there's a team, maybe in one of the other conferences. As far as the quarterbacks go, though, it's Stroud and Young 1 and 2.
Yeah, and so the same guy, Anthony Tresh, who from Pro Football Focus, he's their main guy. He also had the top 4 SEC quarterbacks. He had Bryce Young 1, Spencer Rattler 2, Will Rogers 3, and Will Levis from Kentucky as the 4th.
Well, I disagree with that already because A, Will Rogers will have a lot more passing yards than Spencer Rattler, and B.
Well, he didn't say anything about yardage. He just said that's his top SEC quarterbacks.
But if you've got a kid that's going to throw for damn near 5,000 yards, then he's got to be in there, okay? And I know it's part of that offense, and South Carolina doesn't have the same offense. I understand that. But how you don't have Hendon Hooker in there, who's a 60% something passer, and you got Spencer Rattler ahead of Hendon Hooker, I don't believe that's the case. I think Hendon Hooker's better than Will Levis, to tell you the truth, passing the football. I mean, Hendon Hooker lit up Alabama last year. Hendon Hooker was their best quarterback. He got hurt. They would have won that game against Mississippi if he didn't get hurt. I just think he should be getting a little bit more credit. He's a senior, experienced player. He's in Josh Heupel's offense, and he's going to be effective. Tennessee is going to have a good quarterback, and this guy Hooker should be in the top 3 if you were ranking them in the JC world. So I like Hooker. Are
you in the market to buy or sell your home? Darlene Weeby, a realtor with Caldwell Banker in Paris, will provide you with fast, friendly, and reliable service. Call her today, 352-562-1411, to help your dreams come true. Speaking with JC on the Titan MR hotline. John has a question here, JC, brought to you by Melvin Law. Florida's season win total set at 7.5. Over or under?
That's the number, right? I mean, I heard your fella the other day, David, who I really enjoyed listening to on Monday, say 9-3, and that to me is kind of a wishful pipe dream because of how hard the schedule is. Now, if that happens, that is the coach of the year. Okay, if he wins 9 games, he gets the coach of the year award in the SEC,
hands down,
without a doubt. Okay, that's clear. We know that. 7.5 is a tough number because I got to figure out who those 8 wins are going to be against, but I do like 7. So I guess the number would be, I guess I would bet under, but I don't want to root against them. It's hard, but if you're a gambler, if you're a bettor, you don't have those types of favor. You don't think that way. You just go with numbers. And I think 7 is right on. I looked at the schedule. I can clearly see 4 or 5 losses. I hope it's 4. I don't know. Who knows? But I think 7 and 5 is what we're looking at, QB.
Yeah, John says to your comment about throwing for a bunch of yards, said Graham Harrell threw for over 5,000 yards, but that didn't make him a top QB.
I don't know. I liked him. I mean, didn't he get drafted?
Graham Harrell?
Yeah.
I mean, he was maybe 7th round. Maybe he may have had a cup of coffee in a training camp.
Well,
but he's a football coach now.
It's true. I mean, you're talking about a product of the system, or I don't know.
But back to that, I don't have a problem with those top 4 quarterbacks because Will Levis is slated to be a first-round draft pick because of his size, his strength, his mobility, his running, all that stuff. That doesn't mean he's going to turn out to be a good pro, but I see what they see. Spencer Rattler, people forget, was the number 1 player in America coming out of high school. He had good games. He had bad games. We'll see how it translates in South Carolina. Time will tell. Will Rogers is a solid quarterback in Leach's system.
And I think, look, Will Levis, to me, sometimes has had issues throwing the football. I mean, he threw a bunch of bad interceptions last year for Kentucky, but he was a leader of their team. They're a very physical, demanding team. That's going to be a very difficult game. It's too bad that they're playing Kentucky right after Utah, to be honest with you. They needed South Florida to be after Utah and have Kentucky be the 3rd game, but that's not how it's going to work out. So Kentucky's going to be – I mean, that's the number 2 team in the East right now to most people. I think Tennessee could be, and I think Florida could possibly be with some luck. But, those 3 teams, Tennessee, Florida, and Kentucky. And then I think you have to look at South Carolina for, 2 through 4. South Carolina was very physical last year and won games with bad players, especially at the quarterback position. It was unbelievable the job Shane.
Oh, they had the worst quarterback play I've ever seen
but they
in college
still
football
won
last year.
Football game. Yes, but they won a bowl game. And now with Rattler, it is a massive improvement. I'm not trying to say Rattler's not going to be well, but we didn't see him play after the Texas game when he got benched, with Oklahoma. He got benched, and we never saw him after that. He disappeared. So we'll see what it is like for him in the SEC. I think he'll be successful. I think South Carolina won't – he'll run around and he'll do things, make plays happen, and the fans will be excited. And I think South Carolina's kind of a sleeper in the East, a sleeper in that nobody's talking about him, nobody thinks much about him. But if they were to win 8 games, would it be a shock? I don't think it would be, actually. So,
Greg's referring to what I said about Spencer Rattler being the number 1 player in America. It says high school rankings don't mean crap. Justin Shorter was the number 1 wide receiver coming out of high school, but we haven't seen that in him yet either. No, we haven't. Sometimes it just doesn't pan out. That's why, all these people we're all upset about the Jaden Rashada. I've watched him play. I think he's a good high school player, but I can't see him turning into a great college quarterback. That's just what my eyes tell me. But I could be wrong. So, anything about that, JC?
Who knows? But I'll tell you what it's not worth is $9 million to find out.
But he's not getting that. That's another thing. People
I know, but I get it, but that was the number that was publicized.
JC, here's what you need to do. However, you may get sued. Speaking of that, I wanted to bring that up. Did you see where Doug Gottlieb is getting sued by the agent that Freddie Freeman fired because of his comments about how he screwed Freddie Freeman? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Not necessarily, but I thought this was, basically a free country. If that's what he thought, that's what he thought. I mean, he can say whatever he wants. Doesn't mean it's damaging. Maybe it does. Maybe he's suing because as an agent, that's going to hurt his career. So he's looking for liability on future earnings. I don't really know why he's suing the guy, but I did not see that. But listen, I mean, commentators say things all the time, and whether you agree or disagree, I don't know if that's the basis of the lawsuit, but whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Scott on Facebook Live, because I asked some people to do a homework assignment because I wasn't going to do it. I wanted to know, because everybody makes a big deal about these Elite 11 quarterbacks, right? JC, they go out to Oregon, they do this little competition.
Yeah.
And I was curious, out of the last 10 to 12 years, how many of those guys actually played in a real football game? Okay, so Scott says, answering your homework assignment, 29.9% of the Elite 11 prospects from 99 to 2018 never started a game at quarterback at the FBS level.
What is it? 29?
Basically 30%. 30% of the guys. So 30%, there's only 11 of them that go every year, right?
Okay.
And that's for basically 19 years.
Oh.
Only 30% of them started.
So a third of them didn't even. Okay. Well, it's a whole new world, brother. You know, one thing we talk about is Quinn Ewers.
Thanks for that, Scott. Good work, my man.
Good job, Scott. Good homework. Quinn Ewers is going to be supposedly the starter at Texas. Hasn't played a down since his junior year in high school. Okay. And when he walks on that field in Alabama and Will Anderson are right across the line of scrimmage, what is this kid going to really see? It's something that he's never seen in his life, A, and B, he hasn't seen live football in 2 years, and there he is. And he was a guy that got paid money. So, I don't know if that's going to work out well for old Quinn, but we'll see. He was a highly touted guy.
So he says 70 out of the 234 quarterbacks
70
started a game. Now, what's great is, okay, Scott, we got more homework for you. Did they just start one game? Were they a career starter, or was it like one and done? Because how many times have you seen a guy get 1 or 2 games and then get benched and never play again? So anyway, we appreciate that. I'm joking with you, Scott. You don't go beat your head against the wall trying to get stats for us. But so John says go look at Heitner's Twitter page. He has it on there about the Gottlieb getting sued.
Okay.
We got to be careful what we talk about on here, JC. We may get sued by somebody.
Maybe he's libelous in some sort of factual way, and that's why the agent's going after him. That could be. But if it was just an opinion, that's different. But if it was something factual that he may have done that would hurt this agent's ability to earn a living, then I guess he does have a case.
Yeah. Well, we're 50 days away from college football, which is hard to believe it or not. It's here pretty quickly.
Like I said, we've got training camps for the NFL coming up, and then a few weeks after that, we've got the college guys getting after it. Doesn't the season start on the 25th of August? I mean, isn't it earlier than the first weekend of September? Or I don't know.
Yeah, I should say the SEC teams all start 50 days away, but there are a couple of games before that, week 0, which I don't know why they don't call that week 1. We got a text on the Titan Mark text line.
Okay.
From Jim. Jim says, "Hey guys, love the show. Are y'all going to Atlanta for SEC Media Days?"
So are you? You're not going? I thought you said you might be going. I misunderstood, I guess. I thought
I don't really have a reason to go.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's a big deal next week. They turn it into a real circus, and the questions that are going to be asked about expansion and about college football playoff and all these different things, nobody's going to give you an answer to. The SEC, according to Matt Hayes out of Jacksonville, has basically decided that 16 is all they're going to need right now, and they're not even thinking about expanding beyond 16. And I don't know why anybody would ask that question if they were or weren't. We haven't even got Oklahoma and Texas in the league yet, and they're still 3 years away from coming, apparently. But maybe not. Maybe there's a way they can get in before that 2024 season, which would be the third. That's the third season from now. We've got 2022, 2023, and 2024. How are they going to stay in the Big 12 in those 3 years is beyond me when you've got 4 teams being added next year. So all these questions that Greg Sankey would get about, is the SEC going to expand and go beyond 16? The answer is a flat no. They're not interested. They've got what they want. Assuming that Oklahoma and Texas can come earlier, that would be helpful. But right now, this is where we're at. Nothing's going to change, and this season is going to be just like last season. It's going to be just like last season, QB. You have the same teams, same everything.
Yeah, we got a text on the Titan our text line. Somebody asked, I don't know what day of the week. Somebody's already asked this, but I'm gonna ask your thoughts on it. It comes from George. George says, "What are y'all's thoughts on Mike Gundy?" Yep. Which we've already talked about this. I don't think me and you did, JC, but did you see his comments at the Big 12 meetings? How he says he wouldn't let Texas and OU come to the meetings.
Well, Oklahoma State's not happy with Oklahoma, as you can imagine. That was their big brother, and the big brother kicked them off to the curb. I think what the bigger issue in the Big 12 is, who's favored to win that conference, and Oklahoma State and I guess Baylor would be your 2 top teams right now. But Oklahoma, it's just so funny. Here they are. They're all about coming to the SEC. And what if they won the Big 12? And, it's just but that's the way it works. I mean, the legalities of it don't allow for these teams to come yet. So the money is the biggest issue. So, yeah, Mike Gundy, look, Oklahoma State beats Oklahoma. They go and win a bowl game. I think they won the Fiesta Bowl, beat Notre Dame. It's a great story, and they have been much more successful than Texas. Baylor has been much more successful than Texas. Texas Tech University is about to spend $200 million on facilities. Now, you look at that and you go, Texas Tech, they're a small town. You know what? Lubbock, Texas has more people in it than Gainesville, Florida. And Texas Tech is about to spend $200 million. Kirby Holcott just about basically said it. $200 million.
Good. They need to, probably.
Well, they're looking for the Big Ten to call them is what they want. And, I don't know if that's going to happen because right now it's a race to revenue, and the Big Ten and the SEC are going to be the ones that score the big contracts. The ACC's got an issue with what their TV contract's going to pay those member schools. And, of course, we all know the Pac-12 is in real trouble. And the Big 12 is surviving, but those TV contracts aren't going to be close to what the Big 10 and the SEC are going to have. So Texas Tech is basically taking a foot forward and said, look at what we're spending. Look at what we're going to have. We have a town of 300,000 people, and we're ready to come to the Big 10. That's what people are doing now. So we'll see. It's a race to try to not get left out. And
see, before we let you go, I don't know what made me think of this, but Alabama plays at Texas week 1, correct?
Week 2.
So it's week 2. Okay. Because who's Alabama play week 1?
Utah State, the Aggies.
Okay. Do you have any idea who Texas plays week 1?
No, it's easily findable though.
No, I was just wondering because I was thinking because Texas has been one of these guys that have been really involved in the NIL, obviously getting the commitment of Arch Manning. They've gotten other players to follow him. They've gotten a ton of guys in the transfer portal. A couple of Alabama players followed Sarkisian.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking because that one kid was it Billingsley? Did Billingsley go to Texas?
Yes.
But there was another Alabama guy.
It was
running his mouth. And I'm just thinking, and I don't know what made me think of this. I'm thinking if I'm a Texas Longhorn booster and I'm really involved in the NIL and trying to turn their program around, spend all this money, and you're going to be sitting in your skybox, and I just got a feeling they're going to just get mauled by Alabama in this game.
Well, that's what most folks think. By the way, they play Louisiana Monroe in that first game. The Longhorns do. They play.
That's Terry Bowden's crew.
Yep. So they're going to play the Warhawks in that first game, and then Alabama shows up the next week to play an 11 a.m. game. So, Texas is trying to rebuild. I think Sark's going to be successful there. I do. He credited Nick Saban for saving his career, which is accurate. And, we'll see what Texas can do. But right now, they're second fiddle to Baylor in that conference. And
they're second fiddle to a lot of people in the conference. But I don't know why. I guess I have no idea why I thought about that. But I'm just thinking because they're going to be – you brought up Quinn Ewers, who's going to be starting.
Right.
And I just think they're going to get blasted in that game.
Oh, yeah. Alabama will come in as over a 10-point favorite. I'm pretty sure of that. But, you talked about Arch Manning. You just mentioned him. Somebody said on Sirius Radio, I don't know who it was, but it was an authority on football of some sort. If the guy's name was Arch Smith or Arch Crawford, he'd be a 3-star.
Well, we talked about this on my show yesterday. Somebody brought that up.
Oh,
here's the thing. Newman in Louisiana is not great football. They don't have great players.
No.
The opposing team ain't great players.
Private.
But you got to remember, some dude named Peyton and Eli both played there as well. So
sure, but that's tough to compare to. Poor little.
Well, it is, but he's a better athlete than both of them.
Okay,
clearly. But that doesn't mean he's going to be a great player. But I'm just saying, when you look at his tape, that's all over Twitter. I agree with what people say, but that's how Peyton and Eli look too.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
well,
anyway, JC, before we let you go, I guess the Tampa Bay Rays obviously won last night since you're wearing their
6
hat.
straight against the stinking Red Sox. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. They own the Red Sox. Everybody had the Red Sox winning the wild card when they split with the Yankees a week ago, and then they play the Rays and get just buried. 6 straight losses to the Rays. I think it's great. That's why we're representing the. And by the way, in that series,
Well, how did the Yankees do last night?
They lost to the Reds, but the Yankees are resting players as we go to the All-Star break because half the damn team's going to the All-Star game. I mean, they're resting players, QB. But look at the Rays.
When's the last time the Yankees went to the World Series?
Against
Probably what, 10 years ago?
I don't think it was that long ago. No, they lost somebody. I could look it up. But here's the thing I was going to make about the Rays, the point. And this is just the thing that just irritates me. They got a starting pitcher who's McClanahan. He's going to go to the All-Star game. He's excellent. He won't last in Tampa long because financially he won't be able to. They had in that 4-game series with the Boston Red Sox, not one time that I noticed did they have more than 11,000 fans in that building during the week. And you're playing the Boston Red Sox, who are arguably the second or third most popular team in the American League or in baseball.
And probably 9,000 of those fans were Red Sox fans.
And they couldn't get 20,000 people in that.
Let me ask you this, because
I do not know how they survive in that.
Because you're a guy that loves going to
TV
games and stuff.
Okay.
And I know they've been talking about building a stadium downtown Tampa, maybe near where the hockey arena is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you really think more people would show up if it was there?
I do. Yeah, I think so in Tampa. Yeah, I think you'd get at least 20,000 fans. I mean, this is a team that competes for the American League year in and year out, and they've been, they won the division last year, QB. I mean, and didn't they win didn't they go? Who played in the World Series last year, QB? This is just like
it would be the Braves.
What did you have for dinner last night?
The Braves. Beat,
okay, the Braves. The Braves beat the.
Who the hell did the Braves beat?
It's like, what did you have for dinner last night? Or what did you have for lunch yesterday? Who the hell did the Braves
beat last year?
I
was going to say that, well, they beat the Dodgers to win the NL pennant.
What the Astros was it? It was this is awful. But
awful TV, awful radio.
Well, no, it's just we're having a brain lock. But Tampa Bay, year in and year out, is as competitive as any team in Major League Baseball. Their scouting is the best in Major League Baseball. They are a tremendous organization that's not supported by St. Petersburg, Florida. That's where they play. They don't play in Tampa. It's nowhere near. It's 35 miles from Tampa. It's an hour drive. If they had a stadium in Hillsborough County, right there off 275 somewhere or I-4, they would absolutely draw better. I do believe that because I think Tampa likes team sports friends. Look, I just got done talking about the Bucks selling out tickets, and just because of one guy, and it's a popular team. I don't know. I think the Rays, how they survive is beyond me. It's because of television revenue, but it's crazy.
They beat the Astros. Andy says they beat the Astros.
Okay, so I did say the Houston Astros. Well, there you go. I'm not as.
I don't know what's wrong with my Facebook Live thing. It's not updating. I have to update it myself, and I don't like that. All right, JC, last thing before we let you go.
Sure.
Titan MR text line. Frank text, Shane, I enjoyed hearing Darren Heitner on your show. Was there anything he said that particular surprised you? No, not at all. Like what I don't know if you heard the Darren Heitner. He's an NIL attorney, teaches a class at UF, represents a lot of players, not just Gators, but elsewhere.
Okay.
Basically NIL's not what it was supposed to be, the buying players and all that. But the biggest thing is you can't believe all the nonsense that these agents that are representing these kids are putting out there. It's not true. And that's why that Rashada kid is not getting what people think he's getting to go to Miami.
Because it doesn't even sound rational when you think about it. It's not even rational. But I did hear Reese Davis. I'll leave you to this before I go. I heard Reese Davis say on the radio earlier in the week that in his mind, you're going to eventually have players get some sort of representation. It's almost going to feel like a union. And at some point, there's going to be collective bargaining between players and schools. And that's not coming soon, but that could be the way you get some guardrails, as we've heard, or some parameters in place to try to get this under control because it's unsustainable chaos. And
well, it's going to get under control because, like I told you, the so-called guys that are getting paid up the most money If they don't perform, they're not going to get it anymore, and those boosters ain't going to give it to them. You got to remember, there's 85 kids on scholarship.
So that's called the market.
Ain't all 85 are not getting anything, except I do know at Alabama, all 85 are getting you get 20 grand from their collective.
Okay.
They're getting, each player's getting that. That way, everybody, if you're the 4th-team long snapper, which you're probably not on scholarship, but let's just say you're the 4th-team strong safety, you're getting the same amount as everybody. Now, obviously, Bryce Young and Will Anderson and those guys are going to get, because they are the face of their program, and they deserve it because they have played. But I'm telling you right now, if that 4th-string safety is getting $3 million and not playing,
that's not
that booster or whoever, it's going to cause problems with the starting safety who's not getting the money. It will all work itself out. It's just it's a mess right now.
Well, markets tend to do that, and you're speaking, market viability and who's going to get what and what's going to get who, and I just we'll see. It does take a while to solve, but I thought it was interesting that Reese would talk about collective bargaining. I mean, it sounds very NFL-ish.
I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I don't know if that's the case.
That would mean they'd have to likely be employees.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. All right, JC, last text from Jonathan. He wants to know, how is JC's Publix weight loss going?
Oh, great. I hit the scales, the 203 on my way south to under 200, sub 200, hopefully by the end of the month, sub 200 going into August. I'm going to be at such massive, I'm going to be great playing. I got a tennis match coming up tomorrow night. I'll lose more weight then. And I just can't wait. I just can't wait to get below 200 so I can announce to the world I did it.
Well, what you should have done is take a before and after photo for all our loyal listeners.
Don't look the same. I think I look the same. I swear to God. But I mean, I carry it all right here and in the belly. My legs, my butt, my arms, everything looks exactly the same in my shoulders. But I will tell you, it's great to lose 15 pounds over the summer, and I'm on my way. Will you put that 15 pounds back on during football season? I will take, yes, probably. But I will take a picture of the scale when I'm on it. I'll do a selfie going, so that we have proof. And that was my goal, 15 pounds by the summer.
All right, JC, have a good weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday. We'll see who wins the British Open.
The British Open.
JC, join us on the Titan MR hotline. We're going to take a time out, come back, get to some of these text messages and Facebook Lives you're watching and listening to Pod Up with Matthews in the morning.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp. Comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics. Live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Our Gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co., Ruse Ogra State Farm Insurance, Doreen Wiebe Realtor Caldwell Banker M.M. Parish. Our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, MB Listing, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Avra and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit podupwithshane.com and click the advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Pro football legend Emmitt Smith understands your joint pain.
It does not surprise me that there are a ton of people out there that's in pain.
That's why Emmitt is such a proponent of QC Kinetics, offering real lasting joint pain relief with non-surgical, all-natural biologic treatments.
Whether it's a joint pain, ankle pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, back pain, hip pain, any kind of pain, the body eventually will break down when it's under that much stress.
That stress can cloud your judgment to the point that you'll just say yes to the scalpel or yes to another prescription prescription of pain pills. But maybe it's time for a second opinion from QC Kinetics.
The reason why I would recommend this is because the natural biologics that QC Kinetics is providing you gives your body a chance to naturally heal itself.
Restorative regenerative solutions are here. Get lasting relief and live your life.
Call QC Kinetics 352-400-4550. That's 352-400-4550. QC Kinetics 352-400-4550.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Celebration Point is where the Gators go to celebrate with premium brands like Escape Apologies, Sushi Hana, Regal Cinemas, Kilwins, Le Macaron, Prime and Pearl, and the HBC's restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 2:30. You can get the hottest brunch in town. We'll see you at Celebration Point where the Gators go to celebrate. I want to thank JC for joining us on the Titan MR Hotline. Also, Spurs is having their 1-year anniversary, I believe. It's a big party you can attend. I think you got to make reservations, buy tickets, something along those lines. We'll get more information, but I want to say it's August the 11th, right there at the restaurant. I'm sure the HBC will be there taking pictures, shaking hands, kissing babies, all the stuff that he does so well at his restaurant. We have a text on the Titan MR text line from Edward. This is kind of out of the blue. He says, Shane, what do you think about the future of the Olympics? Well, Edward, I really don't have a comment. I will tell you this. Speaking of the Olympics, and we mentioned it yesterday or the day before, the USA softball team won a gold medal in their preliminary stuff, whatever, but it was coached by Tim Walton, 3 Gators, Amanda Lorenz, Michelle Moultrie, who's still plugging away on the U.S. team, and Charlotte Eccles. All got themselves a gold medal, so that was pretty cool. And congratulations to them. So that's about all I got for Olympics there, Edward. I don't even know when the next Olympics is. Somebody might be able to help me out there. We got to read this. If you got joint pain in your knees, shoulders, hip, or back that won't go away, you need to check out QC Kinetics for long-lasting relief. No surgery, drugs, or downtime. Schedule a free consultation at QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550. Give them a call. That's 352-400-4550. Next week, again, SEC Media Days crank up on Monday. If you missed it, the Gators are taking Anthony Richardson, Richard Garage, and Ventrell Miller will be our representation. So hard to believe, 50 days till kickoff. There'll be, I think practice starts August 5th, if I'm not mistaken. But man, it's here. NFL training camps will probably be starting at the end of this month, and we'll go from there. Andy's got a question on Facebook Live brought to you by Melon Law. Shane, do you see flag football being considered an Olympic sport? I did see that. Why introduce an unrecognizable version of a sport that almost every other country in the world doesn't play or have any interest in? Yeah, and I want to say the NFL is behind this. Obviously, you can't have real football in the Olympics. It would be no competition. I can see flag football because I can see other countries maybe being competitive in that. But it'd be interesting to see. But I did see that. Greg says they were every 4 years. Well, I do know that, but I don't even know when the last time the Olympics were, Greg. I thought they moved it to every 2 years. Seems like they did. This is from Phil on the Titan MR text line. He says, Malik Bryant is signing on July 23rd. Can we beat out Miami? Well, Phil, I don't know. I don't know anything about Malik Bryant. I think he's a defensive end, pass rusher, linebacker type guy. If Miami's throwing around the silly money, probably not. We'll see. Recruiting, and just because he commits doesn't mean. When Miami's sitting there at 1-3, I don't even know what their schedule looks like. Those kids could decommit in a heartbeat. So time will tell. But I like what Billy Napier and them have done. So Daniel says they alternate summer and winter Olympics every 2 years. That's what I thought. It's not every 4 years anymore. So our Olympic question got some traction, and don't know much about it. I do know that the World Track Championships started either yesterday or today. Tons of Gators, former Gators, are in that. That's being run out at Eugene, Oregon. Rules Over State Farm State Farm office is a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visit ogreinsurance.com. Give them a call at 352-240-1779. Going to take our final time out on this Friday. Come back. We'll get a little update on the British Open. I'm ready to go watch it. You're watching and listening to Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Our Gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co., Ruse Ogra State Farm Insurance, Doreen Wiebe Realtor Caldwell Banker MM Parish. Our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, MB Listing, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Avra and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit podupwithshane.com and click the Advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Spurrier's Gridiron Grill is getting ready to celebrate their one-year anniversary, and you can be a part of it. Here's a message from the head ball coach himself.
A little over 25 years ago, our 1996 Gator football team brought our first national championship trophy back home to the Swamp. And on August 11th, our restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, will be celebrating our one-year anniversary, and we're inviting you to bring that championship feeling to Celebration Point. Proceeds from the event will go to the Ronald McDonald House, and we'll have a spread of your favorite Spurrier dishes, as well as special guests, limited edition collector coins, and other prizes, including a dinner with my wife Jerry and me. But you have to get a reservation, so go to spurriers.com right now and reserve your spot before it sells out. And thank you for a super first year and for making Spurrier's Restaurant the champion of restaurants. Go Gators.
Secure your reservations now at spurriers.com. That's spurriers.com.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. It's Chris Doring Mortgage. They do mortgage lending right, helping home buyers throughout Gainesville and North Central Florida. Call Chris Doring Mortgage today at 352-244-0840. This Day in Sports brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. Comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise. Beat the summer heat. Schedule your air conditioners tune up today, keeping you chill and the Florida heat far away. Comfort Temp Heating and Air. Give us a call at 352-376-2366. This Day in Sports. In 1980, Johnny Bench from the Big Red Machine hits the Cincinnati Reds, hits his 314th homer as a catcher, which broke Yogi Berra's record. That's This Day in Sports, brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. Don't forget our Peachland Dentistry golf picks, which is Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte and surrounding areas. Go visit them at peachlanddental.com. While you're watching the British Open this weekend and you come back on Monday, we'll see who wins. I picked Matt Fitzpatrick, Xander Schauffele, and Scotty Scheffler. JC had Colin Morikawa, Patrick Cantley, and Tommy Fleetwood. So we'll see what happens there. But should be a good. The wind's not blowing; they're just tearing it up. It drives me insane. They're going to shoot low numbers for sure. Hope you enjoyed today's program. Have a great weekend, folks, and we'll see you on Monday.